All right, I got my coffee. John Sinn, Eisenhower. So this was a big boy. I had to break it up into three different CDRs for myself. So when I'm breaking it up into three CDRs, we got ourselves a big job. So, but I'm not going to go over every little part because you guys have your eye in, because this shares about 80% of the DNA from the Eisenhower Tockwitz 1111. So, and the Curve Boy right down the street on Country Club there, or the Curve Boy on 1111. So, this is kind of a little bit of a, but the issue that I want to bring up, just overall kind of a thing, kind of a warno, is that, yeah, this guy has literally every kind of thing we do minus push through. So it has the little silly acrylic letters. It's got regular, reverse. It's got the dual lit with trim cap. Plus, it has backed up plex and the bar that we always do. So, my warning to you, just on overall for this, I just want to hit the high notes. Hit the high notes, son. Is there's a lot of work, but also what's coming behind it. You sit in the meetings like me. So we know that everything's going to be the end of September to the 1st of October. And I'm working on the two De Anza monuments, which are also chaos. They're probably the worst little acrylic letters we've done to date. So they're even worse than these little guys. So, or girls, however they self-identify. So my advice to you, and I'm not saying you don't know what's up, but act as if this is due tomorrow. The second you can get these white trays, because you just for note, you're going to do the main bend and then wake up the little box break and set it up to where you can get in there. And we're going to make the boxes. You're going to rivet the sides, and then we're going to do the face hugger, like I call it, for like we just did with the gas station, because we can't have light leaks. The red box is going to be separate. That way, in case it needs to be serviced. Look out for the 1/8 inch right here. I just a little bit of space. By the time you drive by, nobody's going to really see it. Plus a little bit of ventilation with an 1/8 inch gap over almost 20 feet should get some airflow. But anyway, in case we need to take this off, this is serviceable. Because I figured once this panel goes on, you're either working from the outside or you're working from the inside at the power panel where all the power supplies are. So back to what I was saying though, this is going to be a lot of LED work, and this is going to probably come back from paint right in the middle of De Anza. And you got Find Food Bank that I'm sending that today. So you're going to have tons of LED work. And so I would first, the second you get these, have somebody dedicated to just LEDing everything, leashing it up. Go ahead and get silicone on everything, act like it's due tomorrow, and then let it sit in the wrap bay and collect dust out there. That way you're ready. Plus, we know that these guys are that 71 to 7,200 prisms. So I would order those in. Plus, I'm giving you warning that we also have all of De Anza monuments are going to be 2,700 to 3,100 Kelvin. So I'm thinking those are also going to be nano. So I would just go ahead and buy all the nanos you can, but I want all of the bacon and eggs that you have. So I would buy all that up. You've got Find Food Bank coming up. So I would get all of the GE you can get for all of that, plus all this. Plus these things are big. So you're going to be doing that coffin carry, moving them around, maybe forklift, whatever. So even just the assembly, even, forget LEDs. When it comes time to assemble these, it's going to be quite a chore. So again, and this is going to probably drop right back in the middle of De Anza, and they're all going to want it. And you know how it is when we have competing salespeople. I want my job. No, I want my job. So just be ready. Because even this thing, so I did my best to kind of guesstimate, but I didn't do a full breakdown. So again, doing the LEDs, the first thing you can get your hands on the polymerics and whatnot, get the count. Then you can split it up. Because what I did is I tried my best to figure these guys would be 24 volt GE. So you'd have like logo on one side, logo letters, maybe the bar, right? And then maybe these two could be the two emergencies, the red cabinets, backed up plex, possibly. And then this saves you, I have these set for MPSs right here, right? But I also have Keystone. So maybe bring in a bunch of Keystones as well, because those are going to be 20 or 12 volt, the little boys. So I figure you could maybe do one power supply per side, that might fit everybody here, maybe these 2 keystones or 2 MPSs. However, if you might have to scramble on your back foot because the pocket breaks down, you might just get a bunch of keystones and kind of keep your spacing, but maybe you could sprinkle them down on the bottom area if you need more room. So this is about all the room I had inside the sign to get this stack going here. So be ready to maybe improvise in that area if the LEDs, if that's not enough. Again, a whole reason, again, to just get the LEDs done as soon as you possibly can. Just get them done the day of, and maybe just keep somebody dedicated to that as you keep going forward. Especially getting all these soldered. There's not going to be room for any riv nut or wire nuts or anything. So even though these are nanos, you're going to act as if you're going to have to solder connections. You're going to have to silicone them down. Plus, when it comes time to assemble, remember we're doing the silly boy. We're actually going to seal these up, so they need time to cure. So you got that, and again, this will be right in the middle of the crunch for all of that. Plus, I have the regular channel letters and the boxes for the pylon sign on the freeway, so that's going to be hitting right there as well. So I'm sitting on a bunch of work. I'm crushing it as hard as I can. So. But I'm just giving you warning that this right here is a ticking time bomb as far as if you don't handle it as if, it's got to be done right away. So, and then the assembly, I kind of see it as the big boy goes on, or no, the bottom box can go on first, for install, like just put the bottom box on. You've got a couple of riv nuts here. You got the 5/16, and then on the bottom, it's got the screws similar to like I said, it's 1111 all over again. You got those tabs that stick out. That takes care of the bottom box. And then the top box can come in crane style for them. And then once that top box goes on, I think it's good to go. Shouldn't never have to take that off other than to rewire the sign, but hopefully you don't have to do that. So, but that way it makes the bottom box serviceable. Hopefully with that 1/8 inch, you can kind of peel that box off with a couple of homies and try to just deadlift that thing off. If you ever have to replace these guys. So this had to be serviceable. Plus, like I said, I'm going for that face hugger, like I call it, the face hugger there. So we're going that ACF style. So hopefully that keeps the light leaks down and everything like that. So, but yeah, you got the bar, that nonsense with the multiple pieces of polycarbonate. So there's just a lot of work. So, but I would act as if this thing's due tomorrow, because right behind it's going to be coming a lot of stuff. So, and like I said, it's all about the due date. Sounds like it's everybody wants everything right now. But other than that, yeah, because like this right here could be a day, but this could be hidden, a lot of work hidden right here. So just treat this guy like it's due tomorrow. That way you'll have breathing room for what's coming up behind it. So then just buy all the nanos you can. Like I said, I think everything, this is going to be the 7200s, like we said, but I think coming up, we have some little address numbers, little fiddly address numbers. They want, I think 3200, but whatever. So we got a bunch of 3000s, and like I said, I think everything's going to be nano for the Dianza. So I would bring in all the bags of 3000 that you can, for the nanos, that, cause I don't think we're going to be able to do the beach row and secure them for water and all that. So, the nanos can put up with the humid. So I think that's kind of what we need to do. We'll see. We might have to do some testing on that, but I'm just letting you know, bring in all of it. And then, like I say, bring in plenty of Tetra, because you're going to be, you got fine food bank coming up, all that. So anyway, that was just my suggestions on that. Like I said, I could go over all the parts, but I think you guys see it. It's Tockwitz 1111. So also what I want to point out is that on the big box here, I pretty much put everything on a diet for 3/16. Like I said, so I was trying, going from quarter to 3/16. The issue is, though, on paper, it makes sense, right? If you're paying, dollars per pound, a sheet of quarter is lighter than a sheet of 3/16. So it should be cheaper, right? But the problem is there's no free lunch. There's never a free lunch. The 1/4 inch comes in 5x sheets. You can only get 3/16 supposedly. That's what, that's what Danny says. You can only get in 4x. So it could be a yield issue. So yeah, per sheet, you're paying less because it's, dollars per pound. But if we have to order more sheets of 3/16 to get the same amount of stuff out of, we do 1/4, maybe we're not saving the money we think we are. So, but from a standpoint of fabrication, it shouldn't be that big a deal. But if you're welding up the half boys like we do here, if there's any issue there, too much warping or anything, just let me know. Also, I'd like to consider even stepping down from here. I just don't want to get the bends jumping from quarter to eighth, but I think we could also get away with a lot of parts in eighth as well. So, you know, the Molniers and things like that, the structural parts that keep the thing nailed down, probably stick with quarter. But here and there, like these guys could probably be eighth. I'm sure they could, no problem. My issue with eighth though is like usually quarter and 3/16, we're dog boning that kind of stuff. So the dog bones have to get kind of small with eighth. I try to keep my minimum bit for those playing along at home. My minimum bit for aluminum, I try to keep it at 5/32. That's the smallest. And if I have to dip into eighth, then I feel like I'm doing it wrong because it's just too, you know, it's too brittle, ready to break, that kind of stuff. So I can hear people yelling and screaming, saying, "Oh, I use eighth all the time," but these are going to be 3/16 as well. These are the little guys that that holds the box up, you know. So keep an eye out for those. Yeah, let me know how 3/16 works. I'm sure it's fine, but if there's any issue, but I also told Danny to keep an eye on the cost. And if he does find a yield issue where we're buying more sheets to keep up, then, like I say, maybe we'll step down to eighth. I'm sure this could have been eighth. This could have been 09, I'm sure, but you know, paranoid first and then trust later. But yeah, so there's that. Keep an eye out for that. And that being said, this is a reason, not an excuse, but there's a good chance when I'm jumping back and forth with all of these parts, there's a good chance that I miss something. So keep a sharp eye, be gentle. Let me know what I missed without, you know, beating on me. So anyway, but that's it. That being said, good luck and hit me up if you have any questions.
Check the technique.